Awesome. Well, hey guys, so glad that you're joining us tonight. My name is Michelle, and I am really excited for you to come and learn just a little bit more about why a few of us thought that this opportunity was a really good idea for our families. So I want to share just a little bit of my story, and I'm really sorry that it's dark down here. The sun is not shining through my window anymore. But I have been using Plexus for over 6 years. When I started, I was really needing some help with some things in my health. Even though I was doing a lot of great things, there was a gap that needed to be filled. And as I researched things, I found that Plexus was going to fill in the gap for me. The problem was that I also had a gap in my finances. And so where I was over 6 years ago was I was a homeschooling mom. We have 5 kids and I homeschooled them. And I always said that was my full-time unpaid job because, as you can imagine, homeschooling, it does take up a lot of time, and no one is paying me to do that. My husband was in full-time ministry, and so if you put those two things together, full-time homeschooling mom and pastor, 5 kids, that's where the gap is, you guys. That's just where we lived. I did a lot of things just to earn extra money on the side. I would sell things. I was a fitness instructor, and so I taught classes multiple times a week. I taught English as a second language online. Before the kids got up, I taught from about 5:30 in the morning until 8:30 in the morning. And then also I donated blood plasma. I don't know if you know that you can get paid to donate blood plasma, but it's a thing. And I did it. In fact, I called it pimping my veins. And so that's what I did. Maybe I shouldn't have said that since we're recording, but that's what I did. And it was the way that we could have money to do things that we really needed to do, buy school books, um, paid for groceries. Like it wasn't fun money, it was live money. And so that is what I was doing when I found Plexus. And I started sharing about the products right away because we didn't have any margin in our budget. I knew I was going to need to lean into that referral system and get some of the products offset with the money that I would make. And I did. And what really struck me was that it didn't take a ton of effort. It took some effort, but it didn't take a ton of my time. And I was being compensated for helping people in their health, which is something that I kind of already liked to do. And over time, what I found is that there was a ceiling on the other jobs that I had. So the place that I worked teaching English as a second language, you could only get a raise if you taught so many classes a month. And I was never going to be able to teach that many classes in a month. My schedule didn't allow for it. So I would never get a raise. I worked there for 5 years, never once got a raise. I worked as a fitness instructor. They only did raises across the board. And guess what? Never once did I get a raise in the 4 years that I worked there. And blood plasma, they did do bonuses. So, but there were times, you guys, where my iron was low and I couldn't donate plasma. And so what I found is that Plexus offered an opportunity that didn't cap what I could make. It really only was capped by my willingness to grow and get better at what I did. And I loved that because it felt like it compensated me growing as a person in leadership, as a person helping others win in their health. And it just felt a lot more worthwhile. Um, I started to see that the income that I got from Plexus was meeting or exceeding what I was making in all three of those other jobs. And like I said, there was no ceiling. I could keep getting better at what I was doing, developing more leaders, and that income would increase. And it was allowing us to not just live, not just pay for groceries, not just pay for the flat tire when it happened, but also do things that we had not been able to do before, like take a trip. Like all of our family vacations were just going back to visit family in Tennessee. And so it allowed us to say yes to things like traveling. It allowed us to say yes to things like playing competitive sports that never would have happened with these other opportunities because there just was this ceiling that I could not bust through. And so for us, it made sense because I didn't have to spend more time teaching more, you know, giving more, all of that, but I could grow my skills and increase what I was earning without having to spend more time away from my family. And that is why it was a really great idea for us and for our family. Now, I would love to kick it over to someone else. I can't remember who I'm supposed to kick it over to.
It's
Allie,
me.
it's you. It's you. Allie, I love it. We're actually twinning tonight with our shirts. Allie is my good friend. I'm going to let her share some of her story and see if you relate to the things that she talks about.
Thanks, sweet friend. Well, yes, y'all. Similarly to Michelle, I've been taking these supplements for 5.5 years. And a little bit of my backstory, I worked as a nurse for over a decade. I was a bedside nurse. I did mom baby, and I loved it for a very long time until I had kids. And then it just got harder, right? Because 12-hour shifts, childcare. And so that's when I was actually first introduced to network marketing. And it was a totally different company. I was actually selling books, Usborne books. I'll just be honest about it. And it was fun. I had fun at first. I was hosting parties. But y'all, I'll tell you, I hit a wall with that. And I worked real hard. I was I was having book parties. I was making wish lists, you guys. I put a lot of effort into helping people host parties. And I I felt like my effort and the fruit of my labor were not matching. And I'd had my second baby, and I was really hopeful. I was like, oh man, how awesome would it be if I could go down to part-time at work? I was working full-time days before I had my second baby. And my whole maternity leave, you guys, was spent trying to figure out what are we going to do for childcare because our original plan fell through. And what we figured out was going back to nights, I could do part-time night shift. Um, but after I had my son, you guys, I could not book a party for my life. And it just felt like all those walls were coming up. And it was definitely easy for me to think network marketing just didn't work. It wasn't for me. I wasn't good at it. However, I had been watching my friend for over a year share about these supplements. And you guys, I rolled my eyes. I said, I don't need that. I'm fine. But you guys, I was tired. I was craving all the carbs and sugar inside. I did, in fact, need these. I just didn't know how we were going to pay for them. And so I remembered her telling me, hey, I can help you get your products paid for. We have this referral system. And so one day I asked her, I was like, sister girl, I need you to shoot me straight because she was glowing, had energy, felt amazing. I'm like, how much money are you making here? And she was like, I make about $500 a month. You guys, my jaw went to the floor and I was just flabbergasted because I didn't even think that that kind of money was in network marketing and certainly not with my regular friend I went to nursing school with. So I thought, well, if she can do it, I think I can do it. It's worth a shot, right? And I was terrified. I thought, oh, my friends are going to think I'm jumping network marketing companies. I don't want to like break their trust or what are they going to think? But y'all, the desperation of wanting to feel better outweighed all of that. And I thought, all right, here we go. And I'm going to share. I'm going to share how this is going. I'll be honest. And I was shocked, you guys. I had a couple coworkers and a mom friend were the first three people that joined me because y'all, you know, people that are tired, want to lose weight, and are silently struggling with things that we have no idea. And because we're all just trying to make it through our day. And I'll never forget like that very first paycheck being like, oh my gosh, this is real. And it's fun because I think anybody that goes into any sort of like nursing, teacher, any of that. We want to help people. And so it was like fulfilling the passions that God put in me. And I saw a path of like, oh my gosh, well, this can just cover my products. Like, I think it could legit allow me to work less. And it did, you guys. It allowed me to go down to a 1 shift a week and then eventually leave the hospital. And so it is real. And now I get to be home with my kids. I get to pick them up every day from school. We get to play in the afternoons. I get to be room mom. Things that I just never thought that were ever going to be in the cards for me. Um, y'all, the Lord has allowed that because of this company and just how incredible their compensation is. So that is why I decided, you know what, I'm going all in. A, I felt better, and B, it was legit. And so that's a little bit of my story. And I'm going to kick it over to my sweet friend, Julie Sharama.
Hi, I have been taking the products for 5 years now, and I originally started because I was exhausted all the time. I was on anxiety medicine that my doctor wanted me off, and I was pre-diabetic, among other things. So I had a lot going on. But honestly, the cost kept me away. Like I think I reached out to Michelle a couple of times, but I didn't want to spend the money on it until I just got desperate. My doctor really, when I was so exhausted, my doctor had like run blood work, done sleep studies, and their conclusion was you're just old. So I was like, wow, you went to med school and that's that's where you landed. Um, so since I couldn't do anything about age, um, once I reached out to Michelle, there was a point where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to jump in. And within a couple of days, I stopped needing naps. I was able to wean off my anxiety medicine, which made my doctor happy and my liver happy. So for 5 years now, I've been managing my anxiety to the same degree as the prescription medication. So um, I that's a huge win right there. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. So over the past 5 years, I've seen improvement after improvement. But I started these products for me because I needed the help. And I I didn't mind investing in my health. I mean, I'm super cheap. It took me a while to jump in, but once I started feeling better, I just was like, well, this is what we pay for it. Now, we don't make a ton of money. My husband's in the ministry, and I had a photography business. Um, and I did family photography, and that was doing really well. It was really starting to pick up speed because I live on the island of Oahu. So people would contact me when they visited for pictures. Um, but then COVID shut everything down. And midway through COVID, I really started to have this sense or dread of once we get out on the other side, I didn't really want to start the business again. And I didn't really know what to make of that. I hadn't even told my husband that. And there was a moment where people were talking about not advertising, sharing about Plexus. I'd always shared about Plexus because I'm an open book. If you follow me on Instagram, I talk about everything. So Plexus was always a part of what I talked about. And in the 2 years that I had been doing that, I had one or two or three people join me because they were seeing how good I was feeling. And so I was having the cost of my products somewhat discounted because of that. And that's always a win. But there was one day where I thought, I wonder what would happen if I just like really shared, like, hey, who wants to get healthy with me, basically was the post on Facebook. And I did that as I was tying my shoes to go out for a walk. And then within a couple of minutes, I had like 6 or 7 people like, yeah, I do. I like people want to feel good and they don't know that we're out there and that you can. And so I never went for my walk. I was on my couch for like 4 or 5 hours, just answering people's questions, helping they get enrolled. And I left that day with like, wow, I have all these people I have to take care of now. And it was super exciting. And it was from that point. So that was, I don't know, I've been doing this as a business maybe 3 years. I I lose track. It's super fun. It is really way more fun than some of the other things I've done. One, because of the way the company rewards us and compensates us. Like I've earned several trips that they pay for to go. I was a flight attendant for 17 years, and what I got for them at Christmas was a 5-pound cheese wheel. I mean, this was a little better. Like taking my husband like on a vacation to Orlando that they paid for. That's better than a cheese wheel. So that was one thing. And then as much as I had enjoyed photography, it was way more rewarding to see people feel good. Like they didn't, my little neighbor was like, this is the first time in 5 years I've woken up without heartburn. And to be a part of somebody's healing has been amazing. And then it started providing for our family. And we were able for a year and a half to put my daughter in private Christian school. And that's what it paid for. And then she's not doing that now. But so now what it goes to is competition dance. And that's $1 million. I don't know if you're aware of that, but they want a glittery costume for everything and makeup and eyelash. This stuff is not cheap. And so it's allowing us to say yes to these things that we like if we did say yes before, it would have dove us into debt,
Yeah.
but we're able to do it and not have to worry about it. And so now, like looking forward, I see like how this is growing in my own family because of like, it's not like you just put a post up and you have a business. Like I legit work at this now because I see the value in it. And this is my plan to pay for her college because I don't want her coming out of college with debt. So, like Allie said, she was, like floored at $500. Like when you're looking to, as you grow to pay for college, like that's what's possible. So, I'm, it's just been a huge blessing in so many ways, not just for my family, but for the people that I get to interact with and make feel better. And now I get to kick it over to Tracy.
You get to kick it to me to take us home. And y'all, I want to paint a picture for you tonight. And I hope that what you're hearing is this isn't gonna be something that everybody wants to do, but it's an option and it's a darn good one. And so I want to paint a picture for you and take you back to 7 years and about 4 months ago. And um, it was a crossroads in my life. And I think we've all been at crossroads before in our lives. And for me, I was working from home part-time and in the office part-time with a marketing company as a graphic designer. And we structured my son, he was 18 months at the time, we structured his nap time kind of around my work day. And so he napped at the same time every morning and every afternoon. And that was when I would book meetings. I would have Zoom meetings with clients and I would talk to my boss during those hours. And it was for all, like, I thought it was perfect, right? The perfect situation, the best job, the most flexible boss. And there was one day, my son was getting his molars and he woke up from his nap early. And I went and checked on him and I got him up, and then my alarm on my phone went off and I was about to have a client presentation Zoom. And he was fussing and crying, and I went and shut him in his bedroom because I had to be on a Zoom to present a project to a client for a meeting that I had scheduled. And y'all, as a mom, there are those moments that things change for you. And that day, something shifted inside of me. And my husband and I started actively praying for an opportunity that would allow me to never again have to shut my child in a bedroom while I took a client call. Okay, y'all, it shifted something for me. And that was in October of 2016. over the next 4 months, my health would go down a backward spiral. I gained 20 pounds. I was struggling with postpartum depression and I wasn't happy. I'm a really joy-filled person. I just am, and I wasn't anymore. And when my friends started telling me about Plexus, I was very interested in the products. I was more interested in the life that she was living. And I'd been watching her for quite some time, rolling my eyes, not thinking that anything like that would ever be possible for me. And so when she introduced me to the products and I got started on them, I remember the moment I felt hope, the moment where I thought, I wonder if this could be for me what it's been for her. And I asked her, I said, do you think I could do this? Like, could you help me do what you've done? And she said, are you willing to put in a little bit of work? And I said, yes. And she said, are you willing to let me tell you what I did and help you do that? And I said, yes. And I talked to my husband because I knew that it was going to be different than anything I'd ever done before. I'd be growing as a leader. I'd never really led people before. But I was certain that this was a door that was open because, like I said, we'd been praying for an open door. And then I'll never forget the day where I was like, could you please shut this door, Lord? Like, this feels really scary and not like what I thought you had planned. I thought maybe I would create my own graphic design firm. I thought maybe I'd open an Etsy store. I'd tried lots of different things. Just like Michelle shared, I'd tried different things. I'd made bracelets and sold them. You guys, like, I had done so many different things. And this is the thing that kept coming up. And as I kind of talked to my husband, as I talked to my friends, I remember having the thought, like, I really think this could be a good fit for what we're looking for. And then on top of that, I remember having the thought, like, I think I could do this. I think I could do this. And I think I could do really well at this. And then the products worked. And then I was introduced to the company and the compensation plan. And y'all, what I want you to leave here with tonight is an option, is an open door that you could possibly walk down. This has been the best yes I could have ever made for myself and for my family. From the first month I started sharing Plexus, I made over $100. I've never paid for my own products beyond the first month of sharing. And now I am home with not just one baby, but we've had 2 additional sons. I get to make my priorities the main priorities in my life. I get to plan my work around my family, not the other way around. And it has truly been the best yes that we could have made. And so I want you to know, whatever you're looking for, it is possible here. Many of us have a number in our heads that would kind of make this worth it. Okay, and so I want you to think about that right now. And the question is this: on a scale of $100 a month to $1,000 a month, what would be worth it to you? I am making far beyond $1,000 a month at this point. Many of the friends on this call are making far beyond that. But we start there because that is what's going to be possible in the first couple of months with Plexus. And it gives us an idea of what you are looking for this to be for your family, so that we can link arms with you and help you reach what you're hoping to achieve, okay? And so I'd love for you to either share that in the comments or share that with your friend who invited you and say, hey, if you could help me earn $500 a month, that would be worth it to me. If you could help me earn $100 a month, that would be worth it to me. Because this business, while simple, it is going to challenge you. It is going to call you to show up of your own volition. Nobody's going to make you do this, but that is the best part. Nobody's going to make you do this. You get to choose when you do it, on whose terms you do it, and you get to choose how you do it. It has been the best yes. And I am hopeful that it could also be the best yes for you. You see that we're not alone. We're a team, and we love linking arms to do this together. You're never alone. We have systems that are proven, tried and true to help you see success in this business. And so as we close out, I just want you to think about that. And I want you to promise me that you're going to message your friend and tell them what would be worth it to you. Because whatever it is, I promise you can totally do that in a way that is life-giving and just adds so much value to you. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We appreciate you taking the time to learn a little bit more about Plexus, this opportunity, and deciding if this could be a good fit for you and your family. We hope to see you soon, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.